Opening up your night market in Valorant can be a really interesting experience as you hope you get the gun skins you want at a good discount and then most of the time end up disappointed. So I wanted to break it down. What are the odds of getting something good and what are the odds of getting complete trash? And I guess from that, is the night market rigged? So let's jump into all of that and how you can find out specifically for your collection and what skins you think are good, whether you are going to get a good skin or not, or at least the chances of it. So let's jump right into this. Now, I know what you're probably thinking, and you're about to click off the video thinking, you can't tell me what the percentage of getting a good skin is because we're gonna all have different opinions on what the good skins are. And I completely agree, but it does include a tool where you can find the exact percentages for the skins you like and taking into account what you have in your collection. Something that's really interesting about the night market is technically the more skins you have, the lower the chance you get something good in your night market. It's almost like anti-pay to play. And that's just because statistically you're going to buy the skins you want and not buy the ones you don't. So you have a higher chance of getting a skin you don't want. But what everyone wants and what's in everyone's collection is different. So what you can do is go down to the description and you can find a link to a Google Sheet where you can see every single skin line that is in the set and you can fill out your own information. So you put in the number owned, the number of skins in that skin line that you own, and you put in good, a 0 if you don't like the skin, and a 1 if you do. This will customize the form to match your Valorant collection and your preferences and make all the numbers accurate to you because everyone's going to be just a little bit different. So, for example, for me, I only like 85 of the 247 skins. That's just my preferences. But for you, you might like 127, and that's actually what the top category of the totals tab is all about. You can kind of look through them. The top tab is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not really going to break them down, but it's going to just basically keep track of your overall progress. The issue is we don't actually know technically how the night market is generated. There are kind of 2 or 3 main ways that it could be done, so let's break those down. So the first way is that they could just generate 6 random skins and then not show them to you, and as you click on them, it shows you what you got. And that's what I think it is. They probably generate all 6 at once when the night market launches and then just reveal it. But it's also technically possible that they say, they use a random number generator to say generate 2 pinks, 1 yellow, 2 green and a blue. And then when you click on the pink, that is when it generates the gun. That is technically a possibility, and I've accounted for both here. So let's take a look at the mathematically simpler one, the one where if it was a pink and you click on it, it generates it in that instant. That is where it's going to be chance when clicking a slot. So for this sheet, I don't have my collection loaded in. It's just like a basic template, but it's saying that whenever I click on a pink, there is a 61.59% chance that it is going to be a skin I consider to be good. And there's for this one, 0% chance of clicking on a blue or green and having it be good. That's what that's going to basically tell you is once your colors have already been generated or your rarities have already been generated, your chances of them being a good skin. What I think is more interesting is the chance for the entire night market as a whole. And there are 5 kind of major percentages that I want to talk about. Okay, so there's the chance of getting at least 1 good skin in the night market, which I think is the most important one. So it's telling me I have a 95.97% chance that one of the 6 is a skin I consider to be good. That's across all of the rarities and considering the fact that you are guaranteed at least 2 pink or yellows. The next one's kind of just the opposite. What are the odds that you open up all 6 and none of them are a skin you consider to be good? That is going to just be the inverse. So in this case, it's 4.03%. So that's kind of your, ultimate failure rate. All right, so the next one is the chance that every single skin you open is going to be good. Now, for me, since this doesn't think I own any skins, the chance is going to be a lot higher. Compared to if I import my collection data, that number goes down to like 1 or 2%. So it is massively important to import your collection through the numbers owned tab. But it's a really interesting perspective that technically, if you don't own any skins and you like these skins, there's a 1 in 10 shot that you get all good skins. At least in theory, and we're going to talk about that in the end. And that's actually kind of leading me into my next point. So these next 2 are the rarer premium skins. So the top 3 assume that every single rarity is equally likely. So for example, when it generates your 6 things, it basically generates 2 of the pinks. Then it generates, just 1 random skin from among the rest. But there is a chance that they, for instance, make pinks rarer, so they are less likely to show up. We would never know the exact ratio, but I used a ratio that seems about right. given the ratio of pinks to blues and greens. And using that, I was able to come up with this formula that will give you a slightly, probably more accurate perspective. But that's kind of the big thing. We don't actually know the math of how the night market works. Because there's no payment, they don't have to actually disclose what is, the math behind it, because it's not gambling. If it was like with like microtransaction packs in games like Genshin Impact or Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, they're required to explain how things work, but they do not have to do that for night market, since you don't have to basically pay to enter. However, it's really, really fascinating. And this is actually something I want to do for the next night market. I want you guys to leave what you get in your night market in the comments down below. And I'm going to be scouring across the internet, collecting as much data as I can. And I'm going to see if there is a common trend or a mathematical formula we can make to get this to be even more accurate, because we have to make a couple big assumptions for this math to work. And so what I want you guys to do, I want you guys to figure out your percentages and tell me if you feel like they are accurate. Do you think you have been, gotten a good skin 90% of the time, even if it is only one? And so I want to know all of that, because I only have myself and a couple of my friends as data sources, and I really want to just be able to nail this and say, hey, this is the percent chance of getting a good skin. And, right now we are using the best data we have, but more data will make this even more accurate in the future. So yeah, stay tuned for the next night market. Even there will be an updated version of this using some more data that we have. But I want to know your guys' percentages in the comments down below and what you get in your night market. Let me know what you think of this kind of video. I'll see you in the next one.